All right, hello and welcome along to the Sports Express Show. Thank you for being with us once again for a brand new week, my brother.
Brand new week.
And right now we're going to switch gears and talk about boxing, which is something we haven't touched on in quite a while.
Yeah.
And we had a fight, obviously, recently happening. It was a heavyweight fight between Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora. So, the Englishman and the New Zealander.
Yeah.
And that one ended quite controversially for a lot of people because it was a win for Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
And people saw it as quite a balanced fight. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't really an overwhelming win for
Yes.
Joseph Parker, but at the end of the day, he did get the win.
Look, he did get the win. Watching that fight, I feel I understand where the frustration comes from as umbukeli, ne? Because when I watched that fight, it was so evenly balanced. At the end of it all, I couldn't tell who had won. I felt that the fair result was a draw, but if somebody had to win, it had to be Derek because
He did get the knockdown?
He did get the knockdown in the first round, in the first 10 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. So I feel about Orojo Paulen to Derek Chisora, and he tends to be an unlucky chap in boxing for some reason.
He is very unlucky,
And he seems to be up there, but not amongst the elites. But I mean, he's a tricky character.
Yeah.
But in this case, unfortunately, the hard luck, he for and he lost. He lost.
To be fair, I think both guys can't be considered as elites. I know Joseph Parker was a former heavyweight champion.
Yes.
You know, he lost his title to Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
But I also feel with him as well, he's not really up there. He's a very good fighter. And he fed up well against Joshua as well.
Yes,
you know, he went the distance.
Yes.
He was the first fighter to take Joshua the distance.
Yeah.
And he's a very good fighter, but I also don't think he's elite.
No, I share the same sentiments, but I must say, I mean, in this fight, he did something that we didn't see against the fight against Joshua. I think he was more on the front foot. Yeah. I think against Joshua used his boxing IQ against him, just kept him far from him using the jab, and he frustrated him basically. In this case, in this fight against Derek Chisora, they were trading blows. It really was an entertaining boxing match. Yeah. And if anything were to describe this whole match, if there was ever a round to describe this whole boxing match between the two, it was round 9. I mean, the one was on top and then the other one got back was on top. It was just a topsy-turvy round, and it really was the description of this whole boxing match. Hence why I understand the frustration of abantu bebukela lo boxing match. And I feel, like I said in the beginning, I feel that if there had to be a winner, I feel that it was Derek Chisora because of that knockdown.
Yeah, staying with the heavyweights.
Yes.
Now looking at the big boys.
Big boys.
Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury.
Yes.
That one looks to be done over the line. The date is not out as yet, but we do understand that it might happen sometime in June, July.
Yeah.
So both men basically have you know, like after Joshua obviously won his titles back from Andy Ruiz, it's been quite a chill time for him. He did beat Ulokuzana Upulev.
Yes.
And obviously Tyson Fury hasn't fought since the Deontay Wilder fight.
Yeah.
And both men doing or giving us what we've been wanting for the longest time.
Yes.
We do want a unification fight. It didn't happen between Fury and Deontay Wilder, but now the big one looks to be happening.
The time has come, and like we stated last time, I mean, they're fighting in their prime. It's not one boxer waiting for the other boxer to age and then attacking them. These guys are both at their prime. They're both heavyweight boxers at their highest level possible. I mean, there are no two better heavyweights that come to mind than these two currently. So we're gonna get a blockbuster when it comes to those two. And I mean, with old Tyson Fury already throwing the verbal jabs, saying that if flipping Anthony Joshua does not beat him, or if Tyson Fury does not knock Anthony Joshua out by the 3rd round, he'll quit on his stool. I don't know how true that is.
That's quite a statement.
That is a very bold statement.
That is a ballsy statement right there. Because he did mention it like a while back that when he actually made his comeback, you know, after when dealing with his problems with mental health, when he came back, he said, "This division has 2 dosses." And and that was Wilder and Joshua. And he was like, if I fail to take these two guys out, then it means I'm also a Joshua. So he's done that with Wilder. He's dealt with Wilder
in spectacular
fashion. So I mean, if the man is talking about this about Joshua, then you can't really argue much about it.
You can't argue much. I mean, let's be honest.
But I do think AJ is going to give on a better performance than Deontay.
Definitely. I mean, Deontay Wilder is one-dimensional. I think Joshua, we've seen. In fact, what has impressed me most about Anthony Joshua is his versatility. When he came out, he was knocking people's souls out of their bodies.
And then 20 KOs in a row.
Exactly. And not only his loss, but also against Joseph Parker, we expected him to mow him down. But like you say, he boxed him. He outboxed him. So he shows his versatility. So in this match, I'm telling you right now, this is the match to watch.
This is the one.
This is the one. This is really the one. So it's exciting times, and we'll see what will happen.
Speaking about Deontay Wilder, he's going to possibly go up with Andy Ruiz Jr. Andy Ruiz Jr., of course, hasn't fought since he's lost to Anthony Joshua, where he literally bottled everything after winning the heavyweight titles. It's quite an interesting fight between these two guys.
Definitely.
Because Wilder obviously is the knockout artist. You know, Ruiz is the upsetter. Who upsetted the best heavyweight at that time, Anthony Joshua.
Definitely.
And right now, it looks to be quite a meaty one for us to look forward to.
It is a meaty one. I think it's the battle of the flops currently.
Are we calling Wilder a flop after losing?
No. We are calling him a flop because of the excuses he gave after losing.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, what he's done, we're not going to go through it now. It's a lengthy, the conspiracies that he's come out with, and just the poor excuses. We are declaring him a flop because of that. But I do feel it is the battle of the flops, and this one is to see who's the least flop out of the two. And you know, looking at Andy Ruiz Jr. now, he's hit the gym. He's actually lost the weight this time around, and I've noticed that he's been in the Canelo camp. I don't know whether he's being trained by Reynoso, or I don't know exactly what is going on there in detail, but he's there, and there's been these short clips where Canelo has been showing him a few things. So it's exciting times for him, and hopefully he can get back to where I feel he could have kicked off after that first match against Anthony Joshua, and he didn't take full advantage of that. In fact, he was a poor champion, and he lost everything. So let's see if he can get that back, and I think there is no better opponent to do that against than Deontay Wilder. So hopefully that happens, because it's still in the air. Nothing has been confirmed. The camps have not spoken. So if we could sort that out and make it happen, I think that also should be a cracker of a match.
All right, and we have to close it off, of course, with the man Canelo Alvarez himself, because we do understand that he's going to be up against Billy Joe Saunders, which is the fight that we've all been looking forward to. You know, arguably the best two fighters in the middleweight division going to be up against each other for this one.
No, this one is, like I said the last time when we spoke about this, I was very excited. I still am excited, and it's crazy to think that we're closer to the time now. I think I saw a notification that we're like a week away from everything kicking off, the press conference, the weigh-ins. I think it's the weigh-in, if I'm not mistaken, that we're a week away from. So the time has come. We haven't seen, from my end, I haven't seen much from Canelo Alvarez in terms of him showing his clips, like tactics and you know, all those build-ups that they do before a boxing match. And I've heard nothing from Billy Joe Saunders. So and that's a good thing, because it builds up the expectation of this match. And I feel, like I said the last time, if there's anybody who could, given he gives his 1000% on the night, who could beat Canelo Alvarez, is Billy Joe Saunders. So it's exciting times to be alive to watch boxing.
And it's so nice, of course, after all the COVID things, and we're just going to be having, and hopefully the fans are going to be in the arenas as well.
Hopefully that hopefully in those certain areas that the restrictions are pulled back a bit to allow the fans back in, and hopefully we can get that atmosphere back. But like I say, great time to be alive and to watch these great boxers go against each other at their prime. That's the number one thing.
That's what we want to see.
That's what we want to see. So we'll see who'll be the champion out of all these fighters that we've counted, and hopefully it happens very soon.
Definitely, my brother.
Guys, thank you again for tuning in. Make sure that you comment, like, and subscribe, and tell us who you think is going to win between Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders, and we'll catch you again next week. Peace.